Talked to Corey Hart, I think 5 years ago, Prospect Point in Stanley Park, and we have a brand new album to talk about in just a second. But first, let's start at the beginning. You have a song on the album, it's the first track, Back in the Hand, which really deals with you being 21 years of age and doing Sunglasses at Night.
Yeah, it was the first one I wrote, and wrote it, put it aside, and said, okay, let's see what happens. Nothing came for about 4 or 5 months. It was like, yeah, I thought, well, that's it. I've got a one-track album. No, that song was very easy to write. I wrote it after I left EMI and I signed with Sire.
Now, people in the business who know you, or just know the business casually, could care less that you've gone from EMI to Sire. All they care about is you and your music.
Yeah.
But how big a deal was it for you?
Well, seeing as we're both Canadian, I'll draw an analogy to a hockey player.
Okay.
It's like you playing for a team, and you may have your grievances and your gripes with management. You may have your petty complaints with your line mates who aren't passing you the puck. But basically, at the end of the day, you're not playing your best hockey. And when I'm in the studio, none of those things matter to me except the music that I'm doing. But once that's done, you need a team to go out there and spread the word and put the message across. So it's a fundamental part of what they call the business. You know that, and I know that. The fan doesn't care, but it does impact on getting your music across. And I needed to change because I didn't feel that the team I was playing for really cared anymore. And it had run its course like a marriage.
Are you willing to take some of the blame for some of those albums that you released not being as successful as others?
Well, I don't know if blame is an accurate word. I mean, I take responsibility for everything I've done. You know, there are better songs and better albums, and there will continue to be better songs and better albums, and the day that I feel there isn't is the day that I decide to plant tomatoes.
You could be a farmer?
A hopeless farmer.
Yeah, right.
I can't make toast. How could I grow something?
I was listening to David Bowie's Changes as I was driving around the park here, and I was thinking about you. You've gone through so many changes. But I wonder if you missed us as you were changing. Did you miss us, the audience?
Well, what I've missed is I know there are fans out there that have followed my music since the first album, and they've pretty much grown up. You know, it's been 9 years, so a lot of us have grown up together in a certain sense, and I've missed not being able to tour. I've missed not being able to play live, and I've missed not feeling the warmth back because it's been very unrequited over the last 4 or 5 years. I really haven't had a chance. I did one tour in Japan in '88, which was a wonderful tour for me, but other than that, I haven't been out on stage, and that is part of the picture, and it's incomplete without it.
You said something earlier about getting the first song, Back in the Hand, written, and then it took months for the rest of the tunes to come. Is that correct?
Actually, there's the new single in Canada and the first single in the U.S., Song Called Big When I Call Your Name. Some of the music to that I wrote when I was 17. And I didn't know that, though. I didn't go back and say, well, I need to pull something out. I just started playing, and I had, I went into the verse, and suddenly I just fell into this B section, and it was, wow, you know, that melody is back in high school. It's an awakening. It really, I totally had forgotten about the song, and I rearranged the lyric, but I decided at that point that the lyric should be very simple, and it's a tale of Erica and I and our history together, and we're each other's, you know, best friends.
And tell me about the video.
Well, the video is, well, I've decided in videos that I really just want to do performance and not really create storylines, because I don't think they live very well. At least a performance can live in terms of time. So all I asked as a prerequisite was I wanted to have the sitar in it, because there's sitar in the song. I wanted to have some gospel singers in it, and I wanted to be outside. And I'm glad we're doing the interview outside, too, because I'm much more at peace outside.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.
Corey Hart.
Thanks, bud.
Hello there, welcome to today's Blues Spotlight. I'm Kim Clark Champness. Corey Hart literally burst on the Canadian music scene in the early 1980s. He hails from Montreal, and with such songs as Sunglasses at Night, Never Surrender, and Boy in the Box, he sold millions of records here in Canada, toured extensively, but failed to crack the international markets. He went into retreat in the mid-1980s for a while, but emerged in 1988 with a couple of new albums. They failed to really do anything magical. Once again, he went into retreat, signed a new album deal with Sire Records out of Canada. Certainly a good sign, because Sire is one of the most respected labels anywhere in the world. He recently released his first album for Sire, Attitudes and Virtue. He also took 18 months off to tour just for his own sake. That took him to Far East Asia, filled him with a wealth of imagery and insights, leading him to some, he believes, better writing material. Judge for yourself in this spotlight on Corey.
Welcome to, today is Thursday. Happy birthday, Canada. Yesterday was July 1st, today July 2nd, and you would be Corey Hart, and he would be in a backyard with me, talking about this brand new piece of material here, this work, Attitude and Virtue.
Got to show the other side, just so that it gives the proper perspective.
There he is.
Yeah, see, he does smile.
Not the boyish pout as we've come to know. The thing is, when you don't do a record for a long time,
Yeah.
which, how long was it between the last piece?
Almost 3 years.
And then people say, where the heck you been?
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Except family.
The family knows, because you're under their feet all the time, I guess.
Family are happy about it.
Yeah.
You're around a lot more often. Well, I made a couple of significant changes in my career. I got married.
How's
Had
that?
nothing to do with my career, but it was wonderful.
Does it help? Has it helped?
Well, it's a relationship I've been in since I was a teenager, so no, it feels pretty much the same as it's always been. And the other change that I made, which was a change of record companies, which was pretty significant. I signed to a new label in the States. So, I mean, I've been fairly prolific over the years making albums. A lot of artists take sometimes 4 years to make an album.
kidding.
Yeah, so Def Leppard takes sometimes.
Well, we were at Def Leppard all last week. But so this is Sire Records, the same label that's got. Oh, sorry. This is a fancy walking shot. Sire Records, same label that's got Katie Lang and Madonna, and now the Bare Naked Ladies, and Corey Hart. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, where the heck's Corey? Then this video pops up, and I see 92 Days of Rain. Does everybody want to use Kenny Aronoff on their projects?
He's a pretty good drummer.
He's pretty amazing.
He's a pretty amazing drummer.
Let's talk about Baby When I Call Your Name. The video. Where'd you shoot this video?
We shot this in California, out in the Mojave Desert. I had two prerequisites. One, I wanted to be outside, which is a really enjoyable thing for me. I like being outside, so I like doing this interview outside. Yeah. And the other one was I get to sing in it.
You get to see you singing it.
That's it.
Excellent. So for the people watching at home, would you say this isn't really like a Motown kind of influence? How would you qualify? It's an R&B.
Yeah, it's kind of Philly sound.
Philly
Blue-eyed
sound.
soul, R&B.
Blue-eyed soul,
yeah.
and I really like it. I've been singing it all day.
Oh, very good.
Here's the video. Baby When I Call Your Name with Corey Hart on Dan Gallagher's Video. Corey and I will be right back. Welcome back to the show, Dan Gallagher's Video. It's on location in
the sunshine.
in a backyard. This guy's Corey Hart, and does that bug you though when people say
This guy's Corey Hart?
No, but it's a comeback record.
Yeah, it doesn't bug me, but I mean, it's part of the turf. It's part of what goes in the music business. I mean, I think I don't think of it in terms of a comeback. I just think of it in terms of a continuation of what I've always been doing. But if it lands me at the top of the charts once again, I certainly would be happy about that.
You took a bit of a trip. What I was reading about, you went to Asia.
A head trip, you mean?
A head trip, man, like in the '60s. Get the camera going in and out. No, you went on a vacation or a tour or something with your wife. Went to Asia and Africa or something.
Yeah, after I signed that contract with Sire Records, I just decided to take a break, and before I went in the studio, because my nature is such that the minute I'm ready to go into the studio, the minute the studio is asking, the record company is asking for me to do an album, I'm like dying to get in there and start making a record. I tried to put some harness on myself, and we decided to go to a few countries that I always sort of dreamed about visiting, like India and China.
Is India cool?
Have you been there?
No, I'd love to go to both those places.
Do you like the food? Did you like Indian food?
Of course.
Or Chinese
And Chinese.
no, intended.
No, I know, but of course.
Get a wide angle.
Of course, who doesn't?
Yeah. It was actually, the food in China was a bit rough.
Do you eat monkey's brains and stuff?
I had that in the Philippines.
Excellent.
Yeah, they served it just before a concert. The record company took me out to dinner, And we're all seated around this huge table, like a King Arthur's table, and then they pick off this tray, and it's like these 2 monkey heads.
Ooh.
And it was for the show. So,
and tell me, it tastes like chicken, doesn't it?
I never had it.
Everything tastes like chicken. Anyway, here's something. What album is this off? This video.
This is off Bang album. It's called A Little Love. It's one of my favorites, actually.
So roll it. Stay tuned for more with Corey Hart right after this.
Right.
Back here with Corey Hart, talking about attitude and virtue. Get the camera away from me, it's too close. All right, and, this of course would be Corey, I would be Dan, and this would be my show.
And this would be the first time we met.
We have. People found it very unusual. They said, you don't know Corey Hart? I said, no, I don't know Corey Hart. I've never met him. And,
same thing with me.
Same thing as
in Montreal, walking around the streets and say, you don't know Dan Gallagher? I said, no, I haven't
never met the guy.
yet.
Back in the Hand.
Yeah.
First song on the record.
Autobiographical.
Kind of talks about, you know, the fact that you were 21, you had this hit single, and you had a career going, and then, did you ever feel you lost control? Because you've always been a guy who's maintained control. You've never really been a band member. You've had sidemen stuff, but
I always wanted to be a solo artist.
Yeah.
Never wanted to.
So did you ever feel at one point you felt like you lost control?
Well, you know, like an analogy of driving a car and feeling that you don't have control of the wheel? Not really, but I felt that what happened during the 85, 86 Boy in the Box and the Diamond Cellar and the concerts. I mean, I was playing as an opening act, and then I played real small clubs, and suddenly I was playing arenas and stadiums.
Right.
And no one can prepare for that. It's just something that you have to kind of catch up with as you get older, and you can gain some perspective on it. So I don't think I ever lost control, but I certainly was caught up in a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it
And you know, I made some mistakes, and I made some good moves, just like life.
So we're sitting there, we're pondering, we're saying, where the heck's Corey Hart? Next thing, I see Kenny Aronoff banging on the drums.
He's
I hear
great.
92 Days of Rain. And who's the
You're in key, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Who's the guy with the hair playing bass?
He's the guitarist. His name's Bird. Actually, he's from Toronto.
Yeah, I know him.
He's from
He plays in
Toronto.
like a bunch of reggae bands and stuff.
He's fantastic.
And what's with the makeup on people's faces in this video?
It was my idea. I take full responsibility for it. Remember the film Lord of the Flies? I wanted to have the characters to have this real jungle motif, the tribal beast, and that's why we had Kenny and everyone painted in this Lord of the Flies kind of cannibal figure. And some of the footage that's projected on me was footage that we shot on this trip that you mentioned earlier that I took through India and China. I don't know. I think I look a bit strange, but it's for the effect in the video.
Well, you guys judge for yourself. 92 Days of Rain from Attitude and Virtue. The song that started off for Corey when we return.
Welcome back to Dan Gallagher's Video Hits. I'm Corey Hart, and this is Mr. Dan Gallagher. Get a nice close-up of the man.
Nice close-up of me. Corey, you know, you were talking earlier about, you know, you did an opening slots, and then you did clubs and stuff, and clubs and opening slots. Are you going to play live? And if so, who will be in your band?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to play live. How's your drumming?
Yeah, but as good as my singing.
Yeah, okay. You were actually pretty good.
Thank you very much.
You were pretty good. There's been a few interviewers that have tried to sing songs that have been completely embarrassing to them. We got 30 seconds till Sunglasses.
Yes, but tell me, who's in the band?
Kenny's going to play drums.
Get out.
No,
I thought he
really.
was on tour with Mulligan.
No, they're finishing up the end of July.
You're going to have Kenny on the road?
Yeah.
Live. Mr. Aronoff played drums. Did he play on every track?
Yeah. He played on 2 albums. This is the second album
He played on Bang, too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, he's going to be, and who else?
Ruby Turner, who's, actually, she was in a couple of videos we showed earlier, Little Love. She's a British singer. Obviously from England if she's British. Smart guy. And I don't know, I'm going to put together the rest of the nucleus that played on the album.
Basically, you produced this with the help of Richard Perry. Richard Perry and...
well, Richard did one song, Tom Lord Alge, basically, and I did.
Now, you know, I know the name, Tom Lord Alge, but who else? Like, tons
Winwood.
of people.
Well, he produced Steve Winwood's records.
How'd you like working with him?
He was a wonderful guy.
And where'd you do most of it? Down in L.A.?
In Los Angeles.
And you've got some guests on here. We don't have enough time to talk about this, but how did Duff get on the record from Guns N' Roses?
2 in the morning, I was stacking up the vocals to 92 Days of Rain, and I was in the chorus. It's got kind of got an anthem feel. That's the objective, was to have an anthem feel. And I was just stacking up my vocals as many times as I could, and it just wasn't happening. And so he just wandered in and was just checking out what the racket was going on in the studio, and I just said, Duff, get your ass in here and sing, please. And he was wonderful.
He's got a solo record coming out.
He was wonderful. Yeah, that's what he was working on.
Anyway, never enough time. We'll catch up with you on tour. In the meantime, we'll put these on. The song that I guess was your breakthrough single, as it were,
the first one.
In Record Talk, Sunglasses at Night, to close the show. See you tomorrow on Dan Gallagher.
See everybody soon. Thanks for having me.